happy Friday. It's time for Fun Facts Friday.
Happy Friday.
We made it through another week.
Woo-hoo.
Yes.
And it's an exciting Friday.
Yes, it is.
We have, let's do our national days first. Well, first, Sissy, how was your week? Anything eventful happened this week?
My week was fabulous. No, it was just a regular old week. How about yours?
Same here. Regular week. Back to working a little bit more.
Yeah. So are you fasting, Sissy? You doing 21 days of prayer and fasting?
I was, but that was a while. I don't know what's going on right now with the backgrounds going. Our computers are trying to do their own little things. Our computers are trying to do their own little things. Yep. Yeah. There we go. Now I'm back to Fun Facts Friday.
Well, I didn't know you ever left. No, just kidding.
Wilson, how was your week? I don't know if Wilson's with us yet. Wilson might still be hiding behind the fence.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I gotta go pull in some stuff to get some dinner made, and I'll be right back over the fence with ya.
All righty.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about our national days.
Together.
Yeah, she getting something to eat.
Yeah.
Well, I have something to eat. I don't know if this really counts as food or dessert. Girl Scout cookies.
Right. Look.
Have some Girl Scout cookies too. Yep. We got the Girl Scout cookies. And guess what today is, Sissy? It is National Girl Scout Day. It's National Girl Scout Day. It's National Plant a Flower Day. And Sunday, Daylight Savings Times begin. So since we both have our packs of Girl Scout cookies, we'll start with talking about Girl Scout Day. Do you know Girl Scouts have been around since 1912? That's a long time.
Long time.
Long time.
Real long time.
And
it's like Bernie Mac. It's been around ever.
Been around since ever. Huh?
If you take the four off of it, if you take that four off of it, that's a long time.
Yes, just say it's been around ever. But Girl Scouting in the United States of America began on March 12th, 1912, when Juliet Gordon Low organized the first Girl Scout troop meeting. And they say that group was about 12 or 13 girls that she organized together. Now, to go from that, today, there are 2.6 million Girl Scouts. That's about 1.8 million girls and 800,000 adults that are part of Girl Scouts in 92 countries and more than 50 million alumni who have been in the Girl Scouts before. Were you ever in Girl Scouts, Sissy?
Yeah.
You were? I never joined
I fluctuated between Girl Scouts, and then I was a campfire girl. Then
So what was the difference?
I was just done.
What was the difference in the campfire girls and the Girl Scouts? Do you remember?
No, there was really nothing different to me. They were both about the same, but the Girl Scouts is just more prominent than, campfire girls, because I don't even hear about campfire girls anymore.
Yeah.
But they pretty much, to me, they did about the same thing, community, and then teaching you as a
right.
Yeah,
I never joined the Girl Scouts. I know my impression of Girl Scouts, I didn't know there were too many Girl Scouts that looked like me, so I never really had an interest in joining Girl Scouts. But now I see that it is a lot more of everyone,
people like you. Yeah, see, in the campfire girls, there were people like me. There were people that looked like my mother that was, over it. So
right.
Yeah. So, but as the Girl Scouts, the campfire girls used to sell, I remember selling little tins of candies or nuts or something like that.
I remember the tins that Katie did.
Oh yeah, everybody
Yep.
had the Kdkas. You ate the Kdkas out of it, and it became the sewing kit.
Sewing kit, or would become the little change container where you put your change in.
Buttons,
Mm-hmm.
loose buttons or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, but with 2.6 million Girl Scouts, do you know if each one of those sold a box of these for $5? Do you know how much money that is?
I don't know. Math's
That's
not
like
my favorite subject, so that's a whole lot of money, and I can add that up that quick. You said $130 billion?
No,
I thought you really added. I thought you really used the calculator.
Well, I didn't, but in my head, if you think about it,
it's a lot of money.
It's at least 130 million.
Let's see. Let's do that real quick. We have 2.6 times 5. That right there is 13. So that's 13 million. They'd have $13 million just by selling.
So I took it all the way up.
Right.
So,
but that's just selling one box.
One box.
And some of those Girl Scouts really sell
so far.
Right. So you're 8, my 5.
Right.
Yeah. Girl Scouts are getting a lot of money. They're getting a lot of money from the Girl Scout cookies.
I see. Isn't that their major fundraiser of the year?
Yes, and I see why.
Yeah.
I see why.
Well, they do nuts. They do nuts. I think it's like.
I thought the Boy Scouts did the nuts.
No, the Girl Scouts did the nuts. They do the nuts as well.
Okay.
Really?
And
so there you go, Sissy. Your 130 million is if each of those 2.6 sold 10 boxes for $5, that would be $130 million. That's a good fundraiser.
Okay.
That's a better fundraiser than a crab feed for sure. And they only sell them once a year.
Right.
That's all they need with that much.
Right.
So if we start now.
If we start now doing what?
So baking cookies.
You know what? That's a whole lot of cookies to bake. I'll leave that to the Girl Scouts. Shouts out to the Girl Scouts who are out there. And part of Girl Scouts teaching the young girls, entrepreneurship, how to talk to people when they're selling. So, it's a good program if you look at the reasoning behind Girl Scouts. So,
well, that's my entrepreneurship. I said, let's start baking. That's entrepreneurship.
It is. I'll let you have that one.
Thank you.
So today is also Plant a Flower Day. Maybe this one's one more we could do. We could plant a flower. This day is dedicated to the planting of flowers and looking forward to the spring season. The weather was really nice today. I don't know, a few days ago it rained, but we're getting into it's March, and they do say we're almost to April, and it says April showers bring May flowers. So that's Plant a Flower Day, is to bring awareness to that. And I did not know that there are certain flowers for different months. And we're in March, and it says that marigolds and daffodils are the flowers of March. Maybe because those are the ones that bloom during this month. But those are the flowers of this month, of March.
My flowers bloom all year.
They do, and they are pretty and bright, no matter when it's raining, storming. I've seen Sissy's garden. Her flowers are all year round. Her grass stays perfectly green. Yes. See, Sissy, you have one of those, because they say that different areas where you live, how you should know what type of flowers you're planting. And I remember we go back a lot of times to different messages that our pastor has given on how some flowers are perennials and they grow back every year. You may
Yeah.
think they're dead, but they're really just sitting there dormant, and they're going to grow back at their certain time of the year. And then there's some that are called annuals, and they require planting every year. And then there's some of the kind that Sissy plants, and they're called evers. That's because they stay that color and they stay fresh ever.
Ever.
Oh,
Right.
man.
Oh, God. Yes, indeed.
Yep.
So,
Sunday.
you know, sissies,
Huh.
yeah, don't talk about it. This is the worst time of the year for me.
Why?
I can't do it.
You don't like daylight savings time?
Heck no,
Why? Because we lose that hour.
because we lose that hour.
But we only
I
lose that
bet-
hour one day.
Look, I barely make it, huh?
But we only lose the
What'd you
hour for
say?
one day. And then once we lose that hour on that one day, we get back in sync.
That's you. I stay off sync though. I can't wait till October. And then they have the nerve to change it to November.
Well, I've heard that there is a way, sort of how they say to avoid jet lag, is you still stay on your same sleep pattern. If you have a certain time that you go to sleep and you wake up, even though we lose that hour, if you use an alarm clock, you should still set your alarm clock to go to sleep at the same time and then wake up at the normal time you would wake up, just to help your body. They say that's a way also when you travel, if you travel from different time zones, to still stick with the same time so that your body will adjust, because it'll be 7 o'clock regardless. If you lost the hour, it'll still be 7 o'clock if that's the time that you wake up. But you know, daylight savings time was started to make better use of the daylight, because once it gets dark, well, some people don't like going shopping in the dark. You don't like being out when it's dark. So
Right.
that's why they move the time and have daylight savings time, so we can make better use of the dark. I mean, better use of the daylight, so we're not out in the dark.
Right, right. But when your pocketbook don't let you go out past that, it's not good for me. It's not economical.
You would rather be dark so you can stop shopping so much. Well,
see, when I was a kid, I liked the daylight saving time because, you know, you had to be in when the street lights came on.
mm-hmm.
So the street lights didn't come on until later.
Right.
Well,
So you got to
I
stay
agree
out
with
longer.
you on that one, Wilson.
Right.
I agree.
One reason now that I'm older, I like it because when you get off work, there's still daylight hours when you get off work. So you can still at least enjoy some of the daylight.
Yeah.
But
bad part
so
about that,
there are
later.
You do because you
Say
think
again,
that it's.
Wilson?
I said the bad part about that is that then you go to bed later. So now you're waking up and you're sleepy in the morning when you go to work.
But see, that's part of why
is that
we
what my
stay on the
issue
same
is?
routine.
That's it.
See, and that's probably is why it's harder, because if you normally go to bed at 9 and it's just getting dark, you don't realize it's 9 o'clock. You think it's 7 o'clock still. So you staying up till 12, 1 o'clock. I don't know. Maybe I just never switched back, because it seemed like I stay up till 12, 1 o'clock every night. So there's a little saying to help people remember when we move clocks forward an hour and when we move them back an hour. And that is spring forward, fall back. So in the spring, you move forward. In the fall, you go back an hour. And do you know there's some states now in the US who they already stay on standard time. They won't move their clocks forward on Sunday. And then there's more states that are even trying to do that. Now, to me, that's going to make it a little confusing for some people, because if you have friends or family in different states, you might be used to counting your certain timing. And so then if your time change, be like, wait, do I need to count 2 hours or 3 hours? but each state can regulate if they pass a law.
Well, in Tennessee, their time zones are different. If you're in Chattanooga, it's one time, but when you get over to Memphis, it's another time. It's like an hour's different, and you're in the same state.
So they are already. Yeah, it's gonna be different when they do make that change.
It confused me.
Yeah, that would confuse me too. So our main topic today, Sissy, is radio. And guess what? What we do.
I had mine on my shoulder, but I put it up there because, we used to pump it around with that radio.
Did you don't tell me you used to walk around with the big boom box in the 80s.
Well, no, I didn't have it because, I thought I was too cute, but I did used to put the roller skates on and listen to everybody else's, and,
Yeah. You see it in the movies.
Everybody had one. If you had a picnic or whatever, everybody had that radio. It was radios.
It was radios. And radios used to be a big way to get information across. And, on the airways, people sit down before TVs, even the audio shows. And it would actually be like a TV show, but people would sit around the radio and listen. And that probably really had to help people increase their creativity because they had to make their own pictures in their mind to go along with what was being said. I hope I pronounced this name right. Looks like Guglielmo Marconi. We're going to say Mr. Marconi. He sent the first ever radio transmission in 1896. So he is considered the father of radio. So thanks to Mr. Marconi, because he's the father of radio. He's the one who is considered to have started this and sent out the first transmission. Now radio has gone from not only AM and FM radio, but to some people would say we have an internet radio show, which is a big thing now. The streaming radio, podcast, all of those are forms of radio and media getting things out across the waves. Just like I mentioned AM and FM, do you know what AM and FM actually stands for? The AM stands for amplitude modulation, and the
frequency.
FM, yes, stands for frequency modulation. Most people, well, I can't say most people, I prefer to listen to FM radio, which usually you'll hear FM radio, to me, I think has more music stations, and AM radio has more of the talk radio, or sports and things like that. FM radio, okay, so if you think of Mr. Marconi sent his first the first ever radio transmission in 1896, it wasn't until 1939 that FM radio made its first appearance. That's a long time. 1896, that's almost 100 years. That's about like 60 years before FM radio made its appearance. It started as just only AM radio. It says Kdka in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was the world's first commercial radio station. Radio stations east of the Mississippi River use a W as their first letter, and those west of the Mississippi River use K as the first letter in their call sign. Now I want to see, do you hear anything that sounds a little weird about that, being that I just read Kdka in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania was the world's first commercial radio station? I had to read that again, because
maybe
my last
it depends
geography
on where it's situated at. It could be more toward the east.
Pennsylvania is not anywhere west of Mississippi River. I'm like, okay, I'm not too good at math, but I know the Mississippi River in Pennsylvania way over here. So again, because that was the first radio station, later on is when they came up with that guideline. But when I first read it, I was like, that doesn't make sense. Hold on.
Right.
And it still is odd because you would think that if you're west of it, that you would start with a W, but it's not. Those west of the Mississippi River start with a K, and those east of the Mississippi River start with a W.
And do you know, if you look at that still now, when you look at newscasts, a lot of things start with a K on this side, but on everything over on that side, it starts with a W, even on the television stations.
And you remember the TV show WKRP in Cincinnati? It was east of the Mississippi River, so it started with a W. So I was like, okay, I guess that does sort of make sense. Remember that show on TV?
Yeah.
I didn't really watch it. My dad used to watch that show.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Don't have me sing it. Cincinnati.
Oh, sissy. So I looked up radio personalities versus DJs, because you hear that some people might say they're a DJ and some people might be referred to as a radio personality. So the difference in a radio personality is somebody who is known as the radio host, or in India and Pakistan, they refer to them as a radio jockey. And those are usually the ones who will talk in between the shows. They'll talk, give information. A DJ or disc jockey is one who will play the music, and they may introduce the song and play the music. And that's nowadays is interchanged a lot, where the radio personality might do both, or the DJ might do both, or we just call them, oh yeah, you're a radio DJ, but they may technically be a radio personality. It says that during the 50s, 60s, and 70s, radio DJs had a big influence on the music industry because they would introduce people to new music. And that still is today. You know, you listen to the radio, or even if you're streaming, they have channels that are just for new music. And that's where you find it. Because otherwise.
But the DJ is who pumps the music up, though. The DJ,
right.
You know.
Yep. And you hype it up, get you ready. And a lot of times the DJ may be the one to find the new music, or it may be presented to them and they say, you know what, listen to this, try this new track. So it's still a big influence now. You know, I don't think it stopped in the 70s. I think radio, like I said, whether it's internet radio or the streaming radio, I think it still has a big influence on how people listen to music and what they want to buy. Because one, a lot of people aren't buying albums. Some people still do, or buy CDs, but you may purchase an album even online and download it, but you may not want to do that to the whole album. So you'll turn into a radio station or listen to a streaming channel to see if it's something you want to listen to.
You know, quick, you know what I heard? I heard that they're trying to get like people like our senators or our presidents or our governors, or even just like us, when we're doing things, to put it off on the radio again. The radio was once used to give you that information, and we've shied away from that. And do you know that there's still a lot of people that listen to the radio in their car?
Yes, that's true. Especially commuters.
So they were trying to do a push to have people still do radio spots, you know, buy your spot, you know, brand yourself. Now AM there's a lot of people that still do it, but not that many people listen to the AM. So they're trying to get people to do it more so on the FM channels. The thing about it is that when you use the XMs and all that, you can go ad free. You can pay that extra for ad free. So then you're missing, everything. So that's,
you don't get those ads. Yeah. But it would be good if it's an emergency, you know how they send the emergency alerts out to your phone, where even if you do pay for the ad free, maybe if it's a true emergency like that, maybe you'll still cut into the ad free subscribers and at least broadcast the emergency message.
Right. Wilson, do you remember, because I know Sissy doesn't. Wilson, do you remember when we were younger, how about 1 o'clock in the morning, all airways went down and you just had the big circle on the television or your radio didn't do anything? Do you remember that?
I remember that. Yeah, it'd be the black or blue screen, just block everything, or the lines running through.
I was about to say, I remember seeing that though, where some channels you can get it be colors across the lines.
Yeah.
Across the screen. Or you used to have a lot of the emergency broadcast systems come through.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Got loud noise.
We used to get that a lot. The emergency broadcast system, but we don't get it as much as we used to.
No.
I think because it goes back to, I think a lot of times they're sending alerts to people's phones, and because you can't even turn those notifications off. The emergency ones you get, I've been in the store and you start hearing everybody's phone, be like, oh, that's an Amber Alert. You can't even turn it off.
Wow.
Which is good.
Yeah, that's good. Everybody gets it.
I mean, you could turn off the alert once it goes, but it's good that you can't change your setting to not get them.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by you can't turn it off. Yeah. So I'm going to say a couple names. You and
still have that stuff like that. You remember they used to have, well, you probably don't, but they used to have this tower, and it would go and it would sound the tower all over throughout the county.
They have one on base.
Where we live in Fairfield, Travis Air Force Base is there.
Yeah, they have them.
So we're close to Travis Air Force Base.
Yeah, but we don't want to hear the Travis one going off though.
You better start running.
Well, I thought that they said that on Travis is one that's supposed to be able to broadcast out to the whole city.
Yeah, I think if it was really an emergency alert, that they would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too bad our Air Force man's not on.
So I'm good. He's not. He would definitely know.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna say a couple of names of some notable radio personalities, and want to see if you guys might. I recognize Dick Clark's name just from he would always do the New Year's Eve.
He's a radio man?
These are some notable radio personalities. He used to be on radio.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, I guess we missed that one, Wilson.
Wow, that must have been before my time. Yeah, that's where I first know him.
I've known him for doing the TV show.
Yeah.
What about Kate? Is it Casey Kasem?
Yeah, I do remember
Casey
that name.
Kasem or Casey Kasem?
Kasem.
Okay. Kasem. What about Mike Francesca?
Never
they
heard
said that
of
he
him.
was he was in sports category.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Howard Stern.
Yes.
Howard Stern.
He was boxing?
I call Howard Stern the king of XM radio.
Of XM?
Yes, Howard Stern. I remember I know on Sirius XM radio. I know Howard Stern had like 3 or 4 channels. Yep. He reminds me of what was the guy that was raunchy comedian? Not Dick Van Dyke. Oh, I can't remember his name, but he used to be a raunchy guy. Always wore the black leather jackets. But Howard Stern
You're
sort of
talking
reminds me of him.
about
I
you're
can't
not
remember his name.
talking about Horseshack on Welcome Back Carter, are you?
Okay, no, because you lost me. I don't know. Welcome Back Carter or Horseshack. I don't know what.
I remember Wells Back Carter, but I'm bad at the names of the people who were on those shows.
I can't remember what that comedian's name was, but he was a Caucasian and he always wore a black leather jacket. Oh, I can't remember his name.
Maybe if somebody knows who she's talking about, send it in and we'll bring it up next week.
Yes, if you know, I'll figure it out and I'll remind you guys next week.
Okay.
Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah. I used to
recognize his name too. Say that again.
So I used to listen to him or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he sports too?
He had some of everything to say about everything.
Okay, so he was like a newscaster type.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, he had that show, the Rush Limbaugh show.
So yeah, so those are some of our fun facts for today. Now I do have a flyer because we have a special since we're talking about radio, we do have a special radio episode coming up. What is it, Sissy? You want to tell us about it?
Wait, real quick. You didn't
ahead.
Hear me when I said, Rush Limbaugh, he passed away last week.
Oh, just last week, really?
February 17th.
Oh, 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not last week.
Yeah.
That's been like
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Look,
yeah.
one of his quotes. Let me tell you one of his quotes. This was kind of stuff he talked about. He said, feminism was established to allow unattractive women easier access to the mainstream.
Say that again. Say that again.
Yeah.
This is kind of stuff he talked. This kind of stuff he said. This is how he was kind of controversial, but some people liked it, almost like the prior president. So he said, feminism was established to allow unattractive women easier access to the mainstream.
Okay, we're gonna leave that one right there. Rest in peace, Rush Limbaugh.
But look, listen to this one. Listen to this quote he had. He said, poverty is not the root cause of crime.
Okay, I can agree with that one.
Now, see, sometimes he says so. That's why I said I would listen to him sometime. But sometimes he said some things that did make sense. Other times he said some things that
that first one was off the wall.
But that's how he was.
It probably depended if he was probably on some good on some days and some days.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So I found the flyer.
So Sissy, you have a flyer to show because
I found it.
Because find it because pump it up.
Yes, we are having 65.0 radio, and that is tonight, starting at 8:00. So we definitely want you to go to the 650wofradio.eventbrite.com so you can get the login information. It is going to be a Zoom session. We are going to be introducing some new music to some of you have heard it. Just a fun time to listen to some music, start your Friday and just party. You could have your cameras on. You don't have to if you don't want to, but looking forward to having a good time.
Yeah, with DJ Melly Mel. Woo-hoo. Yeah, buddy.
Yes.
And my lady
So we
AJ.
still, it says that it's tonight, but so we still need the RSVP?
Yes, please, because that is the only way that you can get the login information.
Oh, okay.
And so you have to go to the Eventbrite. It's free RSVP, but that's where you will get the login information to be able to view the session and be on there.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because we don't want nobody bumming us.
Right.
Oh,
right.
wow. Like, we've had that experience. Don't want to go there again.
Right. Right. So that's our show for tonight. We're gonna get ready.
Yay.
You guys go grab something to eat. Wilson's gonna make her chicken wings. Get your speakers, get your headphones.
You know what, Wilson? We cannot always be on the same page.
You making chicken too?
Downstairs. Yes.
There we go.
Oh.
So see, that's that old school. That's that wave.
Right. Yeah, because see, y'all have the chicken. I'm about to do a Buzz burger. So yep.
Okay, yeah, I'm not doing burgers for a while now. Burgers had me in trouble last night.
Oh wow.
I'm gonna leave it for a little bit.
Yep.
I'm
so
sorry,
yeah,
Wilson.
but thanks for joining us, everybody, and we will see you at 8:00. Remember to go and sign up, register. We'll see you back in a little bit. Deuces.
Right, and I'll see. And if I don't see you, I'll see you Sunday in the chat.
In the chat. In the chat.